So guys, it was a Super Bowl last night and I forgot to react to probably the one trailer I'm most excited about. And that is the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power trailer from Amazon Prime. Who's a Lord of the Rings fan? Who's a fan of The Hobbit? The Hobbit was one of the first books I ever read, and the moment's realization that you could escape to such fictional fantasy landscape, it led to me then being hooked on Dungeons and Dragons. I loved the dwarfs, I loved the hobbits, I loved the world creation. I could visualize it. I could see Hobbiton, I could see Mordor. There was Gollum. So many creative characters. There were the elves, there were the orcs, there were the guys, I forget what they were called, the ones that would ride around on the horses trying to hunt them down. But you see, it all gets mixed up with Lord of the Rings. Now, I was a fan of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings films because I was a fan of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. But there was something slightly missing from them, and I don't know whether that was the overemphasis of CGI. I don't know whether it was the fact that they were so unwieldy and epic and that there were too many big army fights, although there are those in the books. I liked them in bits, but I can't say that they floated my boat. Does anyone remember the attempt to get the Lord of the Rings made as a sort of human, it was kind of that animation that's attached to human movement, and it was in the 70s, and I remember catching that and being absolutely smitten with this idea again of Gandalf, and you know, there was a comedy in it, and there was humor in it, and there was real characterization. Anyway, you can tell I was an enormous fan. So the Rings of Power, coming from Amazon Prime, they've had to tread very carefully around the Tolkien estate. They can't play with any of the characters that are out there in the other films. They can't play with the characters in The Hobbit. So they've gone much earlier back. They've gone, I think, even before something called the Silmarillion, which was like a book about the early years. But maybe the Silmarillion is in this. So I don't know any of the characters. I think it's fresh faces. It's going to be loosely based on characters that Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien, created himself. And let's check it out. Let's check it out.
Haven't you ever wondered what else is out there?
Yes.
There's wonders in this world beyond our wandering.
But they were crabs.
I can feel it.
Bloody hell. There's a lot going on in there, wasn't there? So obviously there has to be CGI because there has to be escape and there has to be landscape and all that kind of stuff. Little characters with the antlers walking around. Is the person with the little things, is it a hobbit? A hobbit's going to be in there? Do we have to jettison the whole idea of hobbits, maybe? What about the guys slow motioning the arrows and catching the arrows? There's always a good wood, isn't there? There's always a good forest or wood in any Tolkien sort of show, film, series, whatever. It looks epic. There looks like there's lots of characters there. What was that small hand at the end? Is it the hand of a hobbit? Or is it the hand of a child? Is there going to be any suggestion of the origin stories of anyone from anything that we've known before? Or is this going to start from the very beginning? Is it going to be a new Game of Thrones? Are you going to be watching? Are you excited? There was monsters in there. They look like the Goblin King. Do you remember in the mines underneath the ground? I think that's in The Hobbit. Lots of creatures. Oh, I have to confess, if they get it right, this could be an absolute winner.